Das ist Berlin.
Bin ein Berliner.
Wie es weint und wie es lacht.
Yes, that is what we're doing. And there we are hopping back into the S-Bahn West End going to Schönhauser Allee. Our next stop is the Gethsemane Church, where we were greeted from loud bells. Dieter Wendland expected us. He's in the parish of the church council and tells us about the history of the Gethsemane Church. It was named after the Garden of Gethsemane at the foot of the Mount of Olives in Jerusalem. Church and congregation played a crucial role before and during the Wende in the former GDR in autumn 1989, Germany's year of change. The church was built between 1891 and 1893 by architect August Orth. Its exterior gives the impression of a late Gothic hall church. Ja, die Kirche gibt es seit 1893 und jetzt wird bebaut. Finden denn trotzdem hier?
Trotzdem wird weiter Gottesdienst gefeiert, das ist ja das Wichtigste. Und es finden auch Konzerte und andere Veranstaltungen statt.
So schön, wir machen ja eine ganze S-Bahn-Tour durch Berlin. Dass es so nah an der Schönhauser Allee war, das wusste ich nicht.
Ja. Wir haben hier einen sehr guten Standpunkt, deswegen ist die Kirche natürlich auch ein bisschen bevorzugt gegenüber den anderen Mitgliedskirchen unserer Gemeinde. Und wir versuchen eben, das so zu verteilen, dass alle Veranstaltungen gerecht, sagen wir mal, verteilt werden, so nach den Möglichkeiten, die wir eben haben. Und wichtig ist eigentlich, sind die 4 Gottesdienststandorte, eben die Elias-Gemeinde ehemals mit dem Elias-Kuppelsaal, die Paul-Gerhardt-Kirche in der Wispbier bzw. Kuglerstraße, dann hier wir in der Gethsemanestraße und die Segenskirche mit dem Stadtkloster, auch sehr empfehlenswert.
Vielen, vielen Dank.
Ja, gerne.
Our next trip takes us from Schönhauser Allee to Storkower Straße. From there we walk to the housing development which were built in 1961 in the formerly GDR. As prototype and experiment, first plate of the type, P2 is now a listed building. We were invited for snack and coffee break in one of the first apartments, which the architect Wilfried Stahlknecht developed the prototype, and more than 1 million were built after that. Jetzt stehe ich hier mit den Architekten und ganz kurz, Sie haben das entworfen 1961.
1960.
Und danach sind wie viele entstanden? Wie viele Häuser?
Nach diesem Typ hier 360.000 Wohnungen.
In ganz Berlin oder DDR, ne?
Ganze DDR, ja.
Wow. Und Sie haben selber in so einem gewohnt, nur jetzt gesundheitlich können Sie nicht mehr hier wohnen, weil es im 4. Stock sind.
Ich habe hier in dem Haus gewohnt.
Echt? Wie lange?
23 Jahre.
Oh. Was sagen Sie dazu, dass der US-Botschafter hier ist und der ehemalige Bürgermeister, der Herr Momper und Frau Momper? Was sagen Sie dazu?
Das freut mich sehr.
I meet in the kitchen the tenants of this apartment. Ich habe mich jetzt zurückgezogen in einer Küche von den Herrn Heiden, der uns so freundlich empfangen hat, den Botschafter und Frau Momper und Herr Momper. Wie ist es? Hätten Sie das jemals gedacht?
Nein, nie im Leben. War sehr überraschend von 0 auf 100 sozusagen. Bin immer noch aufgeregt, aber es ist trotzdem eine schöne, große Freude.
Jetzt kommt der US-Botschafter in Ihrer Küche.
Ja, hallo. Sehr schön, danke.
Bitte schön.
Herzlichen Dank für herzlich willkommen.
Ja, danke.
Es ist wunderbar.
It's great that he is showing us his home, right?
Yes, no, I deeply appreciate it. Yeah.
Soll ich das übersetzen?
Ja, bitte.
Er bedankt sich sehr und ist so sehr toll, dass Sie ihn so Gastgeber waren.
mit Ihnen? Ja?
Ja, das bekomme ich, garantiert.
Er möchte gerne ein Foto mit Ihnen machen. Ich bedanke mich, dass Sie uns so herzlich aufgenommen haben. Dankeschön.
Dankeschön.
After the official photo shoot, we are heading to our last stop. But first we pass a Trabi, which was the common car in the GDR.
Driven in a Trabi.
To this day, lots of people are passionate about the oldtimer.
Have you driven in one?
I have not driven in one.
Not yet.
Not
I
yet.
did. I drove in the one that's the
I'd have to
Thierry
drive.
Noir one.
I'd have to drive in an armored Trabi.
An armored Trabi. That would be. It would not. You'd have to have You'd have to have Stefan.
Not with a Trabi, but with the S-Bahn we will go to our last stop. The S-Bahn ring around Berlin lets us pass the station Ostkreuz. Then we cross the Spree River, which used to be the natural border between East and West Berlin. A few stops before Innsbrucker Platz, we pass Tempelhofer Feld. Tempelhof is a symbol of freedom, and the airlift of 1948-49 made the airport famous throughout the world. The airport closed 2008 and now is a recreational park. At Innsbrucker Platz, we took a short distance walk to the Deutschland Radio, which was formerly known as RIAS, Rundfunk in the American sector. We were greeted by the editor-in-chief, Peter Lange. The RIAS arose immediately after the Second World War in the ruined, in 4 zones divided Berlin. It was created from US military administrations from 1946 until 1993 with 2 radio programs, and from 1988 until 1992, 1 TV program. I talked to Peter Lange.
What did we see?
Well, you saw a house which is part of the Berlin history, especially to the times when the Cold War happened. And RIAS was a very important player in this whole structure and the system. And we tried to give the ambassador an impression about the house of today and the heritage of RIAS.
Exactly. How long does this exist here in this location, since 1948 or so?
Right. Since 1948, this was the radio in the American sector, founded by the Americans after the war. And in this house, there was a free voice of the free world until 1994. And then nowadays it's Deutschlandradio Kultur, which is part of the National Public Radio.
Okay. And there's one famous picture, I think the most famous picture in the world, with John F. Kennedy, who said at the Schöneberger Rathaus, he said, "Ich bin ein Berliner," and in front he using a RIAS microphone. Huh?
Right. This was one of our boys who had the microphone stored there, and it's one of the very important pictures of the post-war time in Berlin, and we're very proud of this.
You have a young culture, you have young music too, you have classic music, what else?
In this house we have the more cultural program of Deutschlandradio. The other one is Deutschlandfunk in Cologne, which is more informational radio, and then we have a young program in Cologne, Die Radio Wissen, and all 3 are part of the nationwide radio system Deutschlandradio.
And how do you like the fact that Mrs. Emerson say she's learning through your radio the skills of German?
Well, we are very proud of this.
And now it was time to say goodbye and thank everyone for this beautiful journey and trip around Berlin. Mr. and Mrs. Emerson gave me a look back of the day.
Last stop at the at Deutschland Radio, which used to be the RIAS. It's a historical end. And how did you enjoy the tour?
Well, I think we loved it. It's a lot of walking, and we saw some very interesting aspects of Berlin life that we hadn't seen before. The buildings that had been built very rapidly, and the prefab buildings in the old GDR, the Gethsemanekirche, which was really, as Mayor Mumford said, was a beacon of light during the Cold War days. And then, of course, the factory where they do the plaster casting and create works of art that in fact are shown in museums all around the world. And then, of course, here at RIAS. It's been a great day.
I just want to say that I think that the experience of being a Berliner and actually jumping on the public transportation and really spending time on it has been wonderful and allowed us to see Berlin and understand it from a completely different perspective. And so that's part of this that I've loved. And I also think we've learned more about the history, especially of the former East, from a different angle than we ever did. We've experienced it.
And now we're at the end, and we're going to see the historical radio station, which is still there. You said you listen to it because you're learning on your skills, on your German skills, right?
Yes, I'm working on my German skills, so when I'm in the car, I'm actually listening to Deutschland radio almost every day when I drive.
And well, I don't get the opportunity to do that as much, but I will say that being in what was interesting to me with the Ringbahn is seeing all the Kreuzbahnhofs and how it makes it so easy for people to come into the center of the city, and then often they'll ride their bikes. They tie their bikes up and then get on the Ringbahn and go to work or wherever. It's just a very easy city to get around with wonderful public transportation.
Yeah, makes a big difference. Keeps the city greener because of the public transportation.
I mean, Berlin is one of the greenest cities in Europe.
Yeah, we believe that.
Yep.
Lots of water,
You don't
lots
need
of
as many
parks.
roads when you have public transportation.
Yeah, but it also, just Berlin itself, it's the roads, the waterways, the parks, the Wald, Grunewald, for instance. Just extraordinary to have all of that contained within a city, the Wannsee. It's wonderful.
And I want to thank also Mr. and Mrs. Mumper that they showed us their Berlin. They are well known. I mean, we saw it. They're over there, and we're going to go there.
Bürgermeister.
Come and see bitte.
Mr. Bürgermeister.
Come on, Anna.
Yeah,
Since we're on the last stop, I just want to say thank you for showing us around your Berlin. Ambassador and Miss Emerson, they enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hope so.
yeah.
We showed some little parts, but important parts, like Gethsemanekirche or RIAS here, both of them liked houses of freedom, the one in the one way, the other in the other way. So it was interesting.
Yeah, your ability to share with us history Berlin has been eye-opening.
Thank you.
Always try to keep people here, or at least want that they come again.
Yes.
They stay here.
No question.
Would be
Well,
perfect.
I don't think Berlin has that problem. I think a lot of people are wanting.
You should always have a suitcase in Berlin. That's the saying, right?
Yeah.
Nowadays it's important to have a little flat in Berlin.
Yeah, right, exactly. Are you in the real estate business by any chance?
Thank you very much. Thank you. That was a nice tour through Berlin. We see the historical part of Berlin and the newest part of Berlin. I hope to see you the next time. Bye.
Das ist Berlin.
Bin ein Berliner.
Ist weit und wir sind